let's be honest, during the pandemic, we did one of two things. For entertainment, we either sat on our couch and cried while eating peanut butter Sammys watching Netflix, or we played video games. That's what I did to be entertained. I'm taking a look at this company right here that's in the esports market. Let's dig in. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm taking a look at a company called GameSquare Esports. They're in the esports market. So if you don't know what esports is, I'm going to explain it. I'll do my deep dive. Tickers on the Canadian exchange is GSQ, and recently on the OTC American exchange, it is GMSQF. This is for GameSquare. So let's dig in. So GameSquare is an international company based in Toronto, Canada. They acquire assets and entities in the esports market. So esports is pretty much playing video games and people watching you play the video games. I'm sure you've seen this. If you have cousins or nephews, you may have gone to their house and watched them watch YouTube videos of other people playing video games. You're like, what are you doing? Why don't you just play the video game? They say, well, this person's really good. I like watching them play. So businesses saw this and they turned it into tournaments and they brought in sponsors and ways to market and put ads on it. Now we have esports. Esports could potentially be bigger than sports. So sports are like NFL, NHL, regular soccer, baseball, everything. So there may be no more in the future people actually tackling each other on the football field or getting hit in the face with a puck in hockey. Might not be any more Michael Jordans in basketball. It might be a 6-year-old playing online. There might not be any more baseball. You know how exciting that is. Also in esports, it's not just something you watch. The gamers that are playing, they get prizes. Look at these prizes. Look at this. 2020 total winnings in the top esports games. Number 1, Counter-Strike. $14 million prize. Someone played a video game. Boom, boom, boom. Shot some people and didn't even break a sweat. No, they might have got a little fatigued because they didn't eat lunch. And they got 14 million? The other day, I was playing Call of Duty Warzone. I got killed like 6 times by the same person. I picked up the mic. I said, hey, who is this that keeps killing me? The kid barely spoke like words. I think he was a toddler. Look at these stadiums. I really want you to pay attention here because this shows you the grand scale of how big this is. And this is just the beginning. So think about it. During the pandemic, everyone was locked down. They couldn't go anywhere or do anything. So what did people do? They started businesses. They started streaming. They started doing anything you could do online. You couldn't go outside or do anything physical. You had to do things electronically. Everything was electronic. It still is. We're still locked down. So one of the areas that really exploded was esports. People are streaming video games everywhere. I don't know not one person that doesn't play video games or stream video games. Everyone's buying up computers, computer chips to learn how to build all this stuff. They're going crazy. So this is just the beginning of it, and it just rapidly grew over the last year. Rapidly grew. It's only going to continue to grow because now you realize you can make money off of playing video games, not just in tournaments, just streaming online. You don't even have to go to these places. Look at how big these stadiums are. This looks like a football stadium. This is like you're watching a music festival concert. This is massive. Look at this. They're playing in it looks like a basketball arena. So you have your guys down here playing. And then on the big screen, look at this, little 10-year-old. Little 10-year-old killing it, making millions. Now look at this article. The time for esports professionalization is now. With traditional sports and entertainment evaporating overnight amid the COVID-19 outbreak last spring, esports became the solution for stakeholders across many industries to ensure the show did indeed go on. This resulted in the injection of professional gaming into social mainstream, providing hours of entertainment for content-starved audiences while player bases skyrocketed as a means of staying connected during a time when many were apart. That's what I said. During the pandemic, no one could do anything, so they said, hey, let me pick up a controller, play a video game, people will watch me, and I'll get paid. Win-win. It's incredible. So little 10-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 80-year-olds, anyone can get paid playing video games. Esports is rapidly growing, especially over the last 12 months. It's only getting crazier. My neighbor, Barb, she's like, I don't know, 72, 73. She knocked on my door. She said, hey, can you log me into Fortnite? I said, you know Fortnite? She goes, no, but I want to. So looking at the esports industry, just to get a gauge on how big it actually is, it's going to reach 600 million people globally, estimated in 2023. That is massive. Engagement, over 100 billion hours watched as of 2020. Revenue, market metrics, revenue, 218 billion, estimated 2023 gaming revenue. Esports investment $8 billion in 2020. This is one of the markets where it's very unlikely for it to go down. More people are gaming. Technology is only growing and getting faster and crazier and more intense. So now back to GameSquare. So what they do is they acquire assets to bring in that revenue that's related to esports. So one of the companies that they acquired was this company, Code Red. GameSquare's acquisition of Code Red, an esports talent agency, provided an initial foothold in Europe through its UK operations. Code Red represents leading on-screen talent, players, and influencers, and works with leading global brands to develop influencer campaigns and esports marketing strategies. So these guys pretty much are the middleman. It's just like a Hollywood agent. They find you work. So Code Red pretty much finds the work for these influencers, these gamers. They say, hey, we got BMW. They're looking to sponsor someone, really good in this particular game. And then they find an influencer, connect the two, everyone gets paid. Code Red gets paid, the influencer gets paid, and BMW gets paid because now their ad is on these platforms and people will see BMW, they might go buy a BMW. So some of Code Red's clients are Bud Light, that's a big boy, Blizzard, Valve, Dark Zero, CS Money, ESL, some of the few that I know. So Code Red provides access to the brightest talent in esports for your shows and events, including hosts, presenters, commentators, and personalities. Code Red hosts workshops for both corporate clients and educational institutions. With over 40 years combined esports experience and a passion for the industry, that means Code Red's team are on the cutting edge of the latest news and trends. So this is a very good acquisition for GameSquare to really tap into their revenue stream. Here's another recent acquisition. So they acquired two of these guys. Most recently, the company announced that it plans to acquire Reciprocity Corp, the parent company of GCN, a privately held established gaming and esports brand with assets in the United States of America, Asia, and Latin America, three of the largest, fast and growing global markets. So GCN's gaming and esports network, they have 65 plus million unique visitors, 110 plus million unique users globally, and 75 websites. Huge portfolio that they're bringing on board to GameSquare. So here's a look at GameSquare's portfolio. They have Code Red in Europe and they have GCN in North America. And then they have teams in their portfolio. They have LGD in Asia and they have R7 in South America. So this is a pretty good look at how they're bridging the gap with GCN and Code Red. They are the leading agencies, and you have the global brands on the left, and they have the distributing networks on the right. You have your influencers, the gamers, who are going to be getting these sponsorships. So here's a look at GameSquare's growth strategy. Focused execution, focus on growing the highly profitable digital media and agency businesses. Then they're going to bridge the gap between global brands and the gaming and esports community, expand partnerships and cross-selling opportunities in North America and Europe, and complementary growth using opportunistic accretive M&A. This is a very early stage in this booming market that really just, like I said, rocketed in the past 12 months. And there is probably plenty of stocks out there that are going to capitalize on this. So let's take a look at this one. Since this one is bridging the gap between influencers and advertisers, they're in a great place to make a lot of money, generate a lot of revenue. Let's take a look at this chart. For the Canadian ticker GSQ, they're currently trading at 47 cents. Current volume or average volume around 437,000. And a market cap of 27 million. So decent size. And with those two new assets they acquired, I can see this revenue starting to build more aggressively. They actually have a nice trend forming right here along this trend line. They're actually flagging. Let me do a top trend. Okay, they're actually kind of trying to break out of this top trend. They actually popped through it and then came back down back into the channel. Over here is going to be the deciding area. This area here, when they came down, I think that's mostly to do with the market because the market was red during that time. So if we get a green market, we could break out to the upside. If not, it could break down a little further with a support. I'd say a nice support would be around 43 cents. Remember, this is a very early opportunity. Esports hasn't really caught on mainstream. It's still an underground type of way of sports in gaming. So that would be our support around 43.5 on the downside. If it breaks that, it could obviously go deeper into the mid 30s to low 30s. But if we break out of this channel on the upside, which in my opinion is more likely just because of the scale and opportunity of esports, but in the long term, I think this company will do very well. Short term, more risky. This is an OTC penny stock, but long term, as revenue keeps coming in, more and more people catch on to this. It goes more mainstream. There's more reason for this company to grow. So if this stock breaks out of the 56 range, Next test would be probably 75 cents. Beyond 75 cents, it's a liftoff mode. It could go very high. But this stock is small, low volume, 270,000 in volume. Not a lot of eyeballs on this, so it's not going to move very aggressively until, like I said, more volume pours in, more interest into esports, which is going to happen fairly soon. So that is it. This was a sponsored video, so there is a disclaimer on the screen. Always do your due diligence on these companies, all companies really, even if I'm talking about big companies. But these are early stage growth companies, so do that due diligence. I put a link in the description. Click that. It's all about the company if you want to read more, because this is a very fascinating market. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe if you're new to the channel. Don't forget, by hitting that button, it's doing magical things. It's also getting you a little bit closer to retiring young.